In baseball, again, that's a lot of experience there. And you said that you told the administration to give you one more year back in the day, and they did. And you had that class that put you over, and you've been there ever since. Well, again, that's a lot of confidence, and you've been to a lot of different places. Talk a little bit about the college experience, and even playing a little, being drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers. You're constantly learning from other coaches too, right? There's some great coaches here in the city. Ron Murphy, Roger Cordova, the former Valley coach, right? Uh, Gerard Pinata, Chris Eaton. They beat the Cueva in a doubleheader the other day. Talk a little bit about how baseball's changed, how it's evolved, how you had to change. You mentioned to me the other day, things have changed with kids. It's not the same as it used to be. Talk a little bit about your evolution as the current head coach of Rio Grande.
Well, I think that when I first started, there was maybe two or three teams that they were way up here, and then everybody else was, a distant third, fourth, and fifth, sixth, and on down the line. And now you see teams that are 13th, 14th, 15th best team in the state, beating and competing with the top teams in the state. So I think overall baseball in Albuquerque has gotten much better, and and I think that it's become more competitive. And I would attribute that to playing year round. Kids play a lot more baseball in the off season. They play a lot more baseball growing up as well. But I don't know if I mentioned this, but when I was a freshman at Rio Grande, I got cut from the freshman baseball team there. And then my sophomore year, I became the scorekeeper on the JV and spent 2 years on JV. So going back not just to college, but also to high school, I understood. I think those ups and downs that I went through were actually in preparation for what my true purpose in life is. And so that, how I've had to evolve, over time. But I think that the biggest thing that's helped me is the understanding of and having compassion, not just, always there for the kids that play, but having compassion and understanding for the kids that don't get as many opportunities.
You know what? Getting cut and then coming back from that as a freshman, a lot of people they discourage, they get discouraged. But you worked on your game and you worked on it hard. You didn't give up. And a lot these days, you see a lot of kids when they don't get their way. You told me this, Orlando. Things have changed. You told me that kids don't get their way. They want to transfer. Back in the day, you couldn't do that, right? You had to stay where you were. Your mom, your parents are going to let you just leave where you were. All your brothers and sisters, I'm pretty sure, are Rio Grande products, right? So you weren't going anywhere. So again, I think that just leads you to where you mentioned that. You keep saying that. At least I am where I am supposed to be right now. And you've been there for a long time, 27 years. And you've had the Ravens right there in contention, and you've got them there again today. You mentioned this to me when we talked a little bit the other night about playing baseball year round, having a program where you're working on it. Used to be just, we're going to work on the summer Legion ball. But talk to us a little bit about that, how things have changed, even from last year, right? We didn't think we were going to play, and all of a sudden, boom, all the sports are cramped in to a 2-month period. And so talk a little bit about how things have changed as far as playing ball all year round, training, things like that. Because you mentioned to me, if you want to have a good program, it has to be year round. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think that playing year round obviously helps with skill development, but I think more importantly, it allows you to keep a tight rein on your players, because if you lose them to the streets, you lose them to other things that are out there that are negative, other negative influences, then, it's hard to get them back. It's really almost impossible to get them back. So the key is to, keep them active, keep them busy. And, if you build those relationships, what's going on in their life. And if they start heading off track, you can rein them in before it gets too late.
Coach, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about this year's version of the Rio Grande Ravens after these messages on the Sports Desk.
Thank you, sir.
Bill.
Goes through the middle. 1 run will score as that ball hops off the wall. 2 runs will score. Schoolcraft will slide in at second base. That's a nice fastball, 86. It's going to drop. Oh, what a play! Tristan Thomas with the sliding catch. Stolen base attempt. That throw is in time. The tag is in time. And there's the out. Satish Raichor with the big arm. Ball will be gone. 3-run shot, and the Volcano Vista Hawks respond to the home run with one of their own. Anna Armijo goes the distance. Slap that ball out to right field. Diving play made by Edith Chavez for out number 2.
That's laced him well to left field. That could be gone.
God.
It is. For Ricky Henderson. I'll tell you what, Henderson laced that one and hit it very well. Left fielder Jonathan Silva took a look. He never had a chance. That ball was gone right over Silva's head in left field for a 2-run home run for Henderson, who's got a double, a triple, and a home run today.
He is a stud.
With 4 RBIs.
He's had a great game.
He sure has.
Rescue offering. Uh-oh. Kiss that one goodbye. Ty Molina. I was going to say into the night, except we're just afternoon. But a 3-run home run by Ty Molina.
Number 3 for Tristan Thomas. Steal third. He throws in time, but he knocks it out, and Carlsbad will walk off on the Tristan Thomas double steal.
There it is, Vasquez Smith with the walk-off, and that's game. Vasquez Smith, let's just call it.
We saw that coming from Matt Mabry as well. Oh, blasted to left field. It's gone. 1 man comes across, 2 men come across. It's a grand slam. There's 3. And Gavin Hoffman in front of a nice stadium here. A grand slam at the Sal Puentes.
For certified collision and body repair, visit the experts at Car Crafters. 5 locations in Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. Visit carcrafters.com.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. Welcome back to the Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. Today's special guest, Rio Grande baseball coach Orlando Griego. Coach, I got another quote about you. Orlando is one of the best coaches in the state. What he has done at Rio Grande is nothing short of amazing. He turns teenagers into competitive players on a yearly basis but more important, he turns them into great young men ready for college in the real world. Orlando loves kids, and nobody could do a better job coaching baseball at Rio Grande High School than Orlando. Proud to call him my friend. That's from Rio Rancho head coach Ron Murphy.
Great guy.
Yeah.
We've had some wonderful battles on the field, and after the ball game, we give each other a call, and we still give each other a hug, and I hope that I've always been, and I even talked with Jordan Pacheco a while back, and that I've always wanted to just have Rio Grande always be the worthy opponent. When they show up, that they know they're going to be in for a battle, and so I hope that we've done that at Rio Grande.
There's no question that you have. I want to ask you this. You beat Manzano, we mentioned a couple weeks ago, 10-0 for your 400th victory. What did that mean to you? I mean, again, you're the guy. You said this to me a couple weeks ago too. I traded all for a blue trophy. You did say that to me. But what did winning your 400th game? What did it mean to you?
I don't know if I really think about it too much. We show up every day trying to get better. Every time that you get to go out on the field and put the uniform on, you're trying to win each and every game. So you don't like earlier you asked me, you're going to stick around for 600. I don't think about those numbers. I think about just each and every day trying to be a better coach. Sometimes it keeps me up at night. How can I get this kid hitting? What's going on with this pitcher? And then looking at video that I take of them and breaking down their mechanics. So there was a coach at Farmington, Dan Lorette, and one time I heard him talking at a coaching clinic, and he called it the Kaizen approach, where you want to try to improve 1% every day for 100 days. And over 100 days, you had 100% improvement. And so I just look at it incrementally in small steps of trying to improve each and every day until that kid graduates and he flies out of the nest, and hopefully we've given him some foundation and taught him some things that will help him become a good father and a good husband.
Building character, it's a lot more than just baseball, and you've done a great job. We want to talk about your team this year, 14-4, 6-0 in district. Started out with a 2-1 win over Valley, lost to Rio Rancho, beat Atrisco Heritage, beat Volcano Vista, beat Del Norte. Right now, the Ravens are on a 6-game winning streak. And today, you beat Albuquerque High in a doubleheader on Saturday, 20-0 and 13-0. You beat El Dorado 18-8. Manzano, you beat them twice, and then you beat Capital. Right now, Coach, last couple of games, you've only allowed 10 runs or 11 runs in 6 games. You've allowed 11 runs. And today, you've got Farmington. It's going to be a big game. So talk a little bit about how your team has been faring so far this year. You've got them in good position, as you always do in the 5A District 5. Talk a little bit about that and talk about today's game against Farmington. Should be a good one.
Yeah, I think we struggled early on. We had one of our pitchers had tendonitis in his forearm. And then, so he's been DH, and that's Cetis. And then we've had 3 kids actually have concussions, which I've gone 10 years without a kid getting a concussion in baseball. And then all of a sudden we had 3 in one season. So obviously they have to sit out 10 days. And so we've had to absorb some injuries. But I think right now we're getting healthy. My left-handed pitcher, he'll be back this week throwing. He finally got to get back on the field and play a position last Saturday. That's Leon Cetis. But I think right now we're hitting our stride. I think we were actually 5-4 at one juncture, and now we've strung nine in a row together. So, in order for us to get the best seed possible, we have to win out, finish 20-4. And the other day our assistant coaches were talking about, if these guys win their district, and I says, look, don't worry about any of that. Let's just worry about what we can control that's in front of us, and not look ahead. I talked to that for the kids not to be looking ahead to Los Lunas on Thursday, even though that is a super important series. But today's a big game, especially since Farmington's ranked 4th in the state, and we're trying to get the best seed possible.
today's a huge game. It really is, and they called for winds. They're supposed to be gusting later, so we'll see how that plays. Because wind is always a factor. But you mentioned that Eduardo Cardenas and Leon Cetesetis, two of the top hitters in the state. Talk a little bit about that and their development and what makes them such a potent two hitters right there. What makes them so good?
Well, they both swing it from the left side. They both hit with power. They both hit for average. I think Eduardo has 5 home runs. Leon has 4. Eduardo's a big kid. He's 5'11", 225. Leon's like 5'7", 150, 160. But a very strong kid. They're both hitting above 580 right now. And lead our team in RBIs. Leon's leading our team in stolen bases. So, that's really the cornerstone of our offense. But there's other guys in our up and down our lineup that are plenty capable, and we've scored runs at the bottom half of our lineup, and had guys at the bottom half that are able to turn the lineup over and bring Leon up with and give him some opportunities for RBIs. But I think that really, a coach when I first started says you got to have a guy on the hill, and if you don't have that, you got nothing. And I think that our pitching really is hitting our stride, and we're really pitching it really well. Early on in the season, we were walking a lot of guys, and we've been able to mitigate that. And I think your defense, when you're throwing a lot of strikes, your defense is always prepared, ready for every pitch, and they make less mistakes.
What's changed as far as that goes? Because you mentioned that pitching's always, we saw that Sandia and La Cueva doubleheader on Saturday. Sandia pitchers pitched very well. Jordan Martinez and Nico Varela pitched very well against a very tough 1 through 9 lineup. What changed as far as that? Was it more work off the field, more practice, more grip control, or arm slot? What was it?
It can be different for each kid. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's mechanics. So you just try to break down and see what the kid's doing. When we talk pitching, we talk about balance, balance, direction, and rhythm and timing. And so some of those were mechanic stuff, some of them were here. And so you try to, when you bring a kid back after he's had a tough start or a tough outing, you try to bring him back in a position that he can build some confidence, maybe not in a high pressure situation, and then he builds his confidence. So, but I think it's been a combination of several things. But I know that, like, when we played La Cueva, they beat us up pretty good, but we did have 11 walks that day. And so there's no way you're going to beat a team like La Cueva or a Sandia or Rio Rancho, walking guys.
The thing about La Cueva that I noticed about them, they're very disciplined at the plate. They won't take – they're going to get the pitch they want. And some of those pitches are very close that they take, but that's how good they are as far as – and some of the walks you may have given up may have been close pitches. Not that they're throwing them all over the stadium, right? It's just La Cueva, teams like that are going to take the pitch. That's what makes them so good. You've got, again, you mentioned the games against Los Lunas. We've got about a minute left, Coach. What's it going to take for the Ravens to win the district and, get Orlando Griego and the Ravens themselves a state championship? What's it going to take?
Well, I think that right now that we have enough bullets in the chamber to do that, but we're going to have to not play above ourselves, play within ourselves, and we're going to have to pitch it really well. And I think getting Leon Cetesetis healthy right now, he's definitely him with Eduardo Cardenas and Marcus Sanchez, 3 quality pitchers, and then several guys that come out of the bullpen that certainly will give us some support there. But I think that if we pitch it well, that we're going to score runs.
No doubt about it. You guys have done a good job of that. Coach Orlando Griego, you got a game against the Farmington Scorpions this afternoon. We wish you the best of luck of that on that game, and we thank you so much for joining us on the Sports Desk today.
And it's been a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
You bet we'll have you on again for sure. For producer Aldo Ioane, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll see you next week on the Sports Desk.